you're all. My interpretation of gambling is that you have to. There has to be a loss scenario.
Yeah.
Not just I'm a bigger winner than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
There has to be a point where you've paid your money and you just lose.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I would hope this game doesn't have that.
Well, you always get something.
You bought a loot box and you get nothing.
Well, no, you always obviously get something from it. That's the kicker, really, for people.
I don't know the legal definition that these countries are operating under for gambling, obviously, but I would say you're paying for a selection of things.
Yeah.
Like and it's like buying a pack of trading cards. Like back in the day.
Yeah, pretty much.
When there used to be those Pokemon trading cards.
You may get worthless ones, but you always get something.
Or Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Right? You bought your game.
Yeah.
You bought your pack.
Yeah.
Well, then you opened your pack, and there was a chance you might get a Blue Eyes.
Not for me.
Not for you.
Well, no, Blue Eyes was fine. Yu-Gi-Oh similar because they always showed the shiny on the front of the pack, so you knew what you were getting. They did it here. If they did that here, showed us what was in the pack. would that make it better? I'm just trying to think. It's interesting. I hadn't considered that.
Then they might.
Well, then that is pay to win, though, isn't it? If you
even more complicated pricing, because this thing that breaks the game is this much more expensive.
Yeah.
And then it does get to
pay to win. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I mean, you can argue that this thing with the heroes isn't pay to win because these characters should all be balanced.
Yes.
With each other. So the person who uses Pet, which is free, shouldn't have an intrinsic disadvantage against the person who pays to get Darth Vader. But if someone pays to get a better gun that fires faster or does more damage, then that's taking the piss.
That actually raises a point that I forgot to mention. With heroes, even though they cost credits, you cannot use the real money credits called crystals to buy them. You could only purchase them with in-game credits earned in the game.
Okay. So it is tied to progression.
It is, but the thing is, with the loot boxes, you can indirectly purchase the heroes with real money because you get credits in the loot boxes.
You use the crystals. You pay real money to get the crystals to get loot boxes to get credits to buy the characters.
Yes, basically. So indirectly, you can pay to win to get these heroes. I mean, that's again, that's not really pay to win, but you can pay to unlock them all that much earlier, which is kind of slimy and it's unnecessary.
To be honest, I just don't like, personally, irrespective of whether it's good business sense or not, I just don't like hiding off bits of the game from people. I mean, I maybe this shows that I'm not so much of a gamer, but I don't mind. I mean, there's nothing you have to play Mass Effect, but I mentioned Mass Effect because it's another game we're both interested in.
Yeah, good example, yeah.
I don't remember Mass Effect having that many unlocks. Like, you just had the game.
Yes, but I mean, there was the multiplayer in Mass Effect 3. Obviously, you didn't play that, but
yes.
I mean, that was different. I don't want to get too far into that, to be honest.
Or Smash Bros had unlockable characters as well, didn't it?
Yeah, but
I'm trying to think of an example. I'm deciding that everything has unlockables in it.
Well, yes, but
we have the most fun when you've already done all the work on everything, and we can just play the damn game.
Well, yeah, I get pretty obsessed with it, to be honest. But well, Smash Bros, you can't pay with real money to unlock those characters.
No, that is the difference. It's just
unless you because there are new DLC characters that you purchase, obviously, but that's different. You know, that's different, really. But yeah, I was going to say something else about that too, actually. What was it now? Yeah, so as I said,
Alzheimer's is setting in early.
Apparently so. This is pressure, goddammit! I'm not used to this. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, you can indirectly buy the heroes with with real money if he wants to. But that's obviously that is really more of a gamble when you think about it, because you're not guaranteed. Are you guaranteed credits in crates? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't. You wouldn't know, obviously, but
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't think you are guaranteed credits. So actually, that is more of a gamble.
I mean, you are definitely gambling in the colloquial sense.
Yes.
If there's something specific you want out of a crate.
Yeah, like credits.
Like credits.
Yeah.
Or there's just a certain blaster you want.
Yeah.
Then you're just not going. There's not going to be any certainty that you'll get what you want.
No. Yeah, I mean that's a really good point. It's not.
But I mean, you could argue that that's a factor of you rather than the game. The game isn't.
Yeah.
The game isn't making you. I mean, the game obviously is trying to milk you for as much money as it can get.
Yeah, of course.
That's obviously the point. But does it cross that line into gambling if you're always going to get some kind of reward?
Yeah. That's very interesting. It's very interesting. I'm just going to turn the music off just temporarily while we speak, just in case you don't come in that clearly. Actually, so.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I thought that really, but yeah, it's
just as we're wrapping up.
It was something else actually. I've forgotten again. I'm not very good at this.
Matt's going to start blaming the R2 unit in the back.
I am, yes, I am. I'm beeping.
Probably an R2 unit.
Yeah, it's probably nice. Some cheap copy, I suppose.
Well, it's definitely an astronaut.
Yeah, but well, no, I think to wrap it all up actually, because we were talking about whether or not it's gambling technically, and it may or may not. I mean, it probably isn't technically, but that's not really the issue, is it?
No.
It's more the fact that it's exploitative. It's exploitative to children, and to adults who have addictive tendencies or impulsive tendencies. People who can't help who can't help but be enticed to buy crate after crate after crate.
Yes.
People who will waste a lot of money on it because of that.
I know there's a lot of completionists who will want to unlock everything.
Yeah. A lot of whales, I think, as they call them as well. But
Whales.
I think that's what I've heard. Neither would I. It's go recently, but So.
But yeah, I mean, every product ever made has its hand and ad campaign.
Yeah.
Has been trying to make you buy it.
Yeah.
By hook or by crook.
Yeah.
I mean, no one trying to make money from selling stuff is going to go, well, we don't need people to buy it.
Yeah.
But it has become a lot more aggressive recently, I think.
I think so, yeah. There's a lot more games doing it as well in particular. We've got Battlefront, we've got Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, the sequel. We've got, what other games? Oh, Need for Speed, Payback, I think it's single player, I don't know, but anyway, but that one's got it as well, another EA game.
EA's been infamous for that.
Yes, it has.
I remember the kerfuffle when, in the PC gaming world, when EA did what they did to The Sims.
Oh right, so what do they do? I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, they summarising massively.
Yeah.
The Sims 2 had been released with a whole bunch of like cosmetics, like you could buy furniture and wallpaper and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And Sims 3 launched without any of those features.
Oh right.
And then they were put in as paid DLC.
Oh, that is yes.
Content that was in an earlier game in the series was just arbitrarily locked off.
Now that thing is, like, things like that are just indefensible, aren't they? Really, there's no justifying that.
No, there isn't. But
from a consumer standpoint, there isn't. That's just ripping us off.
But I mean, you can do this with games. I mean, you can't hive off a deleted scene of a film. And then make people pay for it later.
Yeah.
Or an extra chapter of a book.
Yeah.
Or at least, unless you're like selling an epilogue or something.
Yeah.
It's something that only really works with games.
Yeah, you're right.
And gaming as an industry just doesn't seem to be taken seriously enough to be regulated properly.
Well, hopefully that's changing with recent events.
Hopefully, I mean, I hope so, but like, I remember and I'm sure you remember the fuss about always on DRM.
Oh yes, yeah, of course.
And there was a big pushback for that with Diablo 3, I think.
Yeah.
And now people just seem to accept it.
Yeah.
And a limited number of CD keys, so you couldn't pass games around. And the whole conflict between publishers and physical retailers about pre-owned games. And it does seem like whenever there's this competition, the gamers have on the internet, there's an enormous campaign at the start, and there's a lot of energy there, and the publishers back down at the start, and then people lose interest and turn to the next fad. I think the publishers think that they just have to hold their breath and it will go away. Yeah. And they can make it the new normal, like always on DRM.
Yeah, maybe so. It's why a lot of people on Twitter and so on social media, like big figures like Angry Joe, are telling us, this is a victory, but we've got to stay vigilant. We've got to keep at it, otherwise it's just going to come back. Yeah. And it's sadly true. It really is. But still, I think it's funny because you get people who do come off as a bit too paranoid, in my opinion. Like there's one guy, I'm not going to name names, of course, but there was one guy who was saying, "Oh, this is all part of EA's plan. That they knew that we were going to react this like this, and then they knew they were going to take it off." It's like, I'm thinking, no, do you realise how much money this is going to cost them?
There was a fascinating graph about the EA's share price.
Oh yeah.
On the American stock market.
Yeah.
It got to the point where that post went up on Reddit and there was just a straight line.
Oh really?
Down.
Wow.
I mean, these things are always measured in like fractions of a penny.
Right.
So it's still quite a dramatic thing to think.
Yeah. I mean, I highly doubt, as much as we all hold EA in contempt and other publishers, I highly doubt they would have planned this.
Oh no.
I highly doubt that.
That's like saying that Ubisoft planned one of the last couple of Assassin's Creeds to be the utter mess that it was.
The utter nightmare fuel that it was. I remember that.
I can understand the idea of like creating a problem that only you can solve to try and get goodwill. Yeah. Especially in the Star Wars fandom.
Yeah.
That's basically what Palpatine did with the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, and EA, for all the stupid things they've done, are smart enough to realise that if they were going to do that, it would need to be obvious that it wasn't them who'd made the problem in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
In my book, you get no credit for solving a problem created by your own mistake.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Especially when you've been as reluctant to do it as EA did.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so some people I think they need to draw the line a bit more, where this, this actual believable sleaziness is, and what's just your own paranoia, just totally way out of proportion.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that we're thoroughly, utterly depressed, why don't we play some custom arcades? Let's just give that a go.
Cheer ourselves up.
Yeah. So I got the game yesterday, and I played through all of the voice cracking missions because they're just that exciting. So basically, you've got a tutorial that speaks for itself.
Matt's still going through puberty.
Yeah, apparently so. Does that mean I'm still growing as well? That'd be great.
Oh God, already like a foot tall.
So we've got the battle scenarios as well, which are basically custom arcades, but...
See, that's just lazy. I mean, look, the Resistance and the Rebel Alliance have got the same symbol.
Yeah. Oh man, it's spot on.
I mean, that isn't a fault of the game.
No.
That's from the movies.
No, it's good.
Like the CIS, the Empire, and the First Order all have different, similar symbols.
Yeah.
They could have done something.
They could, yeah, right.
To the resistance symbol.
Pretty much. I suppose we should be grateful they got a different name, I guess. I mean...
It still starts with the same 2 letters.
It does. Oh my God, you made it worse. Oh dear. But yeah, so basically, wow, how do I continue that? Wow, that's really gutted me. But basically, within battle scenarios, it's basically the missions from the last game. It's a preset scenario within arcade. Basically, you play as different characters, defeat troops. It's pretty standard stuff, really. Mm-hmm. And it's somewhat varied. There's always one at the end where you play as all the heroes. You can choose any of them, which is quite nice. So yeah, it's all right. It's a bit like missions, which isn't really what we wanted from SoloPlayersMatter. Because you and I, we played the last Battlefront as well. We played it quite recently.
Out of the Battlefront 1 of this generation.
Yes, so the last Battlefront being the first Battlefront of the current Battlefront series. Is
this confusing enough for you?
Yeah, so we played Skirmish, we played the missions. We weren't particularly impressed with missions, were we?
No. The mode we spent most time in was I forget what.
Skirmish, you mean? Do you mean Skirmish?
The one where you had to defend the Walker.
Yeah, Walker Assault Skirmish, basically.
Assault,
basically.
That's what we spent the most time in,
and then we played the smaller...
The invisible walls in that got me so depressed.
Yes, yeah, that...
I remember one instance, I got the hero token thing, I picked it up off the ground, dusted it off, and was playing as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And you have, when you're playing as a Jedi or a Sith, in pretty much every version of Battlefront, you have to be fairly close to them.
Yeah.
And so I was running up to these rebels that were spawning and were shooting at me and were doing damage to me. And I was getting you're out of the battle area, go back or we will terminate your life support in 12 seconds. Yeah. They can kill me from out there.
Yeah.
But I have to wait for them to come up to me. It was arbitrary silliness.
Yes, it was, yeah.
When you compare that to just the simple instant action capture the command posts.
Yeah.
From the old Battlefront 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was simple. Yeah, it wasn't particularly complicated.
And the AI wasn't the best.
But it was functional. It worked, and you had the run of the whole battlefield to go where you wanted and capture what you wanted.
Yeah.
You weren't funneled down a corridor.
Yeah, you got a big map to explore, and it feels like one of those corridor sections on a COD's campaign level. Very scripted almost.
Compare the Endor Walker Assault battle, where you are basically just going down a long corridor. With maybe 6 dead ends. Yeah. For those uplink stations.
Yeah, pretty much.
Compare that to like Cloud City. In the first Battlefront 1.
I'm so glad you brought that one up.
where you could go around 3 different ways, or the Renbar map that we used to play. Yeah. Where you would always play the jump trooper and go one way, and I would be a grounded trooper.
Yeah.
And go a different way and meet up later and have our own little strategy. There's no strategy in any of the split screen modes we tried.
No.
In Battlefront 1.
But I mean, comparing Skirmish, that's what the Walker Assault mode was, to do you remember the missions mode we played, where we played as the rebels, took down a couple stormtroopers who fell down after one shot?
Yeah. The piss easy one.
How did those two compare, do you think?
The missions could have been better if they were harder.
Yeah.
They felt very, very bite-sized.
Yeah.
They didn't even have to be harder, just bigger. We were playing split screen and we were rattling through them. Yeah. And I'm not the best gamer in the world.
Yes, they'll see. Give it time.
as you will see. But I felt I could have done those very easily on my own.
Yeah.
with no cheats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which is not something I could have said for the old Battlefronts 1 or 2.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like they were a challenge.
Yeah, and that was on normal difficulty. And the thing is, those missions did have difficulty settings, but even when you rack them up, they're just not that fun. They're too stilted. The AI wasn't good enough. It felt too repetitive. I mean, I think this is the overall point, really. I mean, Skirmish was a lot better, but the AI didn't really work that well for it because they weren't that optimized, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it is comparing any of these to the classic Conquest mode, as you said. Conquest, where you capture the command post, they're all over the map. So the nice thing is, you can explore all of the map at any random point. Like, oh, they're capturing this command post, well, I better go capture it back.
I mean, we keep going back to Battlefront 1, but to go to Battlefront 2, the Camino map in Battlefront 2 was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. That jump through the Dark Trooper.
The Dark Trooper,
so
Jet Troopers.
Yeah.
You had a thing for backpacks, jetpacks.
I still do. Amazing. It's just everything. It's everything. But seriously, like if you ever tried the double jump packing with the Dark Trooper across the stilt cities with the ocean below you, it's so cool. It's so fun. Oh, it's so exhilarating.
There was me running along with my grenades. And my ability to not kill droidy, because
it's pretty uncanny. I mean, if you want to shove something in the loot box, at least, hey, that would be pay to win. That wouldn't be pay to win, would it? That ability, there you go. There you go. Yeah, you can take that one right from us. We'll call it the Tom Carver ability or something.
Because what we did in Battlefront 1 was, especially on the Cloud City map, the Bespin map, was you would be a jet trooper, and you would be Republic versus CIS, and Matt would be the jet trooper, and he'd go off and basically do all the work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I would be a sniper, find a high place, which there were lots of on that map.
There's good verticality,
and, and just park up at their last command post, and just have fun.
Yeah, pretty much.
There was no, and we played the beta for this Battlefront 2.
Yes, we did.
And in any of the things we did in Battlefront 1 and any of the things we did in the beta, there was nowhere where I could do any sniping.
Yes.
Even though there was a sniper class in the beta, in one of the maps that was released in the beta.
Yes.
That you had no reason to ever choose that class because it was pointless. You were never going to do anything.
There were no vantage points.
No.
It was a very small, tied together map. I mean, it's a beautiful map. Don't get me wrong. And there are other maps as well. I'm trying to think if there's other vantage points.
You see, that is the problem with games like this, is they say you can play it your way. And they provide all these ways for you to construct a character that may well be unique to you. But if they don't provide opportunities for each of them to be useful, then no one's going to do that.
Exactly,
And the people who want a certain kind of character, like me, that it isn't catered for, are just going to be put out.
Well, I think there are some other maps that may be slightly better that do have vantage points.
What I'm saying is based very much on the beta, which is a tiny selection of maps. I'm well aware. I don't want to prejudge.
No, of course, definitely.
But that is the tragedy of Battlefront, isn't it? Is that Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 of this generation have both been good games. That's why the shitty business practices annoy us so much.
Underneath all that, there is a really stellar game that's made really well in a lot of key areas.
If this game was unplayable, just badly made, then like Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Syndicate or whatever, or Unity, whatever it was called. If this was just badly made, then no one would care what the business practices were, because no one would buy it. But because it's good, it's like you put all this effort into making something fun, something actually enjoyable. can't you just stop being evil for 5 seconds and let us play it?
Pretty much, yeah. It's really interesting opinions, yeah.
I wonder if you translate the Arabesh on this screen, yeah, I think you will.
What, you translate to those the titles, you mean? Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Well, you can tell from where there are double letters. Like if you look at the T in battle,
yeah,
you can see.
Oh yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
there's a double of that character, and it appears in all the other places.
Yeah, you're right.
That's attention to detail.
That is, yeah. That's the thing in this game. There's a lot of attention to detail. You know, it's well made in that respect.
It pleases the stupid nerds like me.
Yeah, and me as well. Yeah. So well, I'm a bit less stupid, but yeah. Yeah. So there's some really good points there, definitely. Yeah. I think you mentioned.
Normal service will be resumed.
Drop the mic. It's fine. It's fine. Mic drop.
The mic.
Drop mic. Mic drop. Boom. There we go. So but you mentioned having these options that aren't actually really playable in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me of the vehicles like the old Rails vehicles, like the Lati, because we had that in the last game. And the thing is, I guess another reason why Conquest was so good, it's because it gave you reason to use starfighters. You could actually use them to traverse the battlefield and go to one command post, and it was a safer way to do that.
Yeah.
It was a safe way to traverse the battlefield and get to the enemy command post. But here, yes, you've got starfighters, yes, you've got gunships, but
that was all well and good except for the speeder bikes. I do remember using speeder bikes both in original Battlefront 1 and this Battlefront 1.
Yeah.
And just smashing into just about everything that could be smashed into.
Well, yeah.
Including you some of the time.
Well, yeah, sometimes, yeah, I can't avoid that one. But, I mean, that's part of the fun, though. It's part of the skill, isn't it? There's nothing to avoid those things.
My skill was always in the Starfighter battles.
Yeah.
Matt was best at the land battles. The only type of game I've ever done better than Matt in is like Jedi Starfighter. If anyone remembers that.
Oh man, that's
a blast from the past.
It certainly is. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I never liked the game. So you're like, that's fine. But yeah, so
Matt didn't like that game because I was better at it.
Well, there may have been part of it. Oh dear. But yeah, wow. I mean, that's. Changing tact swiftly because you know you're obviously no more modest than I am. Why don't we take a look at some of the maps on Custom Arcade actually?
In the short time we have left.
Yeah. Actually, let me record it first. And then okay.